Hello, everyone, and welcome to Talks and Tea with me, Tonya Nicole. We are on live, and I have a special guest tonight. Go ahead, join us. Tell us what tea you're drinking. We're getting started in 30. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am excited. Another week, and we are here on a Tuesday and getting started with Talks and Tea with me, Tonya Nicole. And in just a moment, I'm going to bring up my very special guest. But before we get started, I want to just check in with you. How are you doing today? We celebrated Martin Luther King Jr.'s, well, it wasn't actually his birthday, but it was his holiday yesterday. And so we celebrated that. We are here. Tomorrow is inauguration. It is a whirlwind of a 2021, and we are getting started with lots of different things. But at the heart of all of that, I want to stay consistent to you, coming on each and every week and sharing just a few little nuggets in the most fun, original, and creative way I can possibly think of. And I've started a new series with some wonderful special guests. Last week, you saw Lieutenant Colonel Stephen Coffey here with us. And today, I have another wonderful guest. Her name is Tamiya Griffin. And let me tell you, Tamiya is phenomenal because she has come to me and she is a woman on fire. She's a mother, she's a wife. And on top of all that, she is a trained birth and postpartum doula. She's a breastfeeding peer educator. And listen to this. She owns her own nonprofit organization called the Motherhood Academy. And their mission is to support moms of color through education, mentorship throughout all the stages of motherhood. That's awesome. I'm so excited to bring her because she's going to share some of her nuggets. Exactly. Wow. She's amazing. And I am so honored to have her on the stage with me today. Before I bring her up, my tea today, I have this fun little mug. It's a miniature mug, and I am drinking the Blue Days tea. And you all know I love my Morphia teas. Morphia teas and smoke blends. And I have this tea. It's the Blue Days. And I tell you, it just brings me such joy because it turns blue, but it's not even blueberry. It turns blue because of flour that's in it. And I put just a little bit of honey in it and it makes it sweet. So I'm going to try it really quickly. This time I worked out and didn't put too much honey, but it has gotten cold because I had it for a little while, so I didn't forget. All right, without further ado, welcome to Maya.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Definitely, it's great to have you on the stage. Before we do anything else, what tea are you drinking, and tell us about your mug?
Yes, so I have a mug. If you can see, it has some girlfriends on it. And on the back, it says Sister Talk.
Yes, I should have had a Sister Talk mug.
Yes, I am drinking ginger tea with a little bit of honey too.
See, that's really good. Ginger is phenomenal. I love the teas because they're like natural ways and holistic ways of just kind of healing all those things inside of you. And I like just a little bit of honey because it curbs the bitterness of the teas.
Yes, for sure.
Awesome. Okay, so I am so overjoyed and excited, y'all. Tamiya she's going to be a guest on my podcast. So go check out the round to it on Monday, the 25th of January. Now, it usually broadcasts at 10 o'clock Central Time, 10 p.m. And so that would be 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you can either get it late at night or you can listen to it anytime after that. Go check her out next Monday. But she's going to just give you a highlight of that tonight. And so Welcome. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, Tamiya.
Yes, thank you again so much. I'm so honored to be here with you. My name is Tamiya Griffin, and I am a wife and a mother of 4 children, 3 boys and 1 baby girl. Isaiah is 9, Caden is 6, Carter is 4, and Sarai is 1.5.
Look at them, y'all.
That's us. That day was so hard to do. It was so
I'm
hard.
sure. And they're all smiling at the same time. Like, what?
Right. It took some work.
That's good stuff.
But I am also a trained birth and postpartum doula, a breastfeeding peer educator, and like you mentioned, I also have my own nonprofit, the Motherhood Academy.
So this is so fun because you have such a wealth of expertise. And I know you said you had your education when you first started it. You went in thinking that you were literally going into education to
Right.
become a teacher. And then it veered into all of these different paths. So how did you get to becoming a doula and you wanted to go into teaching?
Right. So, I mean, I don't even know where the switch came from one day. I think maybe from an elective class, but from that elective class, I ended up switching my major in track to public health, but more specifically, maternal and child health and childhood development. And so I also became pregnant with my son during my senior year of college. And just loving everything about pregnancy and learning about pregnancy as I was actively going through it, definitely steered that direction. And it's funny because I thought I like came up with this whole program or idea, but one day after I had my son, I was sitting there like, moms really need someone to come check on them to just see how they're doing after birth. And then in my research, I found out what a doula was. And so then that led me to becoming trained. And I mean, here we are.
Right. So many years later.
Right.
And so, okay, I know there are some people out there that know completely what a doula is. Most of the work that I do, I don't really work with the younger children. I don't really work with that infant age and pregnancy age. So I don't often come on here and explain what that is. But for someone watching who may become pregnant, who is pregnant, who might be just postpartum having delivered their child, what exactly is a doula? What is their role? What is their purpose in that process?
Right. So when people hear the word doula, they oftentimes associate it with a midwife, which is very common, but they are not the same thing. Although they work in sync and they go hand in hand with each other, they are two totally different people and professionals. A doula, I will start off with saying, is someone who is not giving medical information. A doula is a lay or a support person for an expectant mother and her family to really provide advocacy, emotional support, and physical support throughout the pregnancy and labor and delivery. And then in that postpartum period, once mom comes home with the baby, just making sure she's feeling okay, working with her with breastfeeding and taking care of the new baby or babies, but really there to support you. And especially if you're choosing to give birth in a hospital setting or not hospital setting, to just support you through that.
So if I was in that situation, would I need to have a midwife and a doula, or one or the other?
No, definitely both. A midwife can deliver your baby, so that's your medical person, right? The person that's going to deliver your baby. But your doula is there supporting you, coaching you through your breathing, working with you to manage your pain, helping your partner step in and help you manage your pain, because that's also a misconception too, that if I have a partner or my mother or whoever that is very close to you during your pregnancy and maybe that you want with you at the time of delivery, what do I need a doula for? But a doula can help those people who you want to support you in a way that's best for you while you're
Mhm.
actively in labor and delivering the baby.
I love that because not all people have a family member that can just stand in that spot, or sometimes if they have family members and they shouldn't stand in that spot.
Right.
So it's really nice to be able to have someone that's a little more objective that can really provide that support and advocate based off of knowledge versus just this doesn't seem right. So
Exactly.
that's really interesting. So do you go into the hospital with them, or if they're at home, are you at every step of the process?
So each person is different and the things that they might want from a doula, but typically a doula will work with the person or birthing person or pregnant person before labor and delivery, clearly getting to know one another. Birth is such an intimate experience. So you want to build that relationship and rapport with each other. And even the person, maybe a dad or a spouse, you want to build that relationship. So when you're all tensed and just anticipating the arrival of the baby, you already understand each other and have that relationship formed. And then it depends. Some people will have the doula come over and they'll labor at home a little while.
Okay.
Maybe they'll support them via the phone and then meet them at the hospital if that's where they're choosing to birth at and deliver at. And then once you get to the hospital or birthing center, etc., you're really there and hands-on if needed, and until the baby is born and until mom doesn't really need you anymore and she's healing and bonding with the baby. So it's everywhere pretty much.
I love that. That's awesome. So do you recommend that someone secure a doula early in the pregnancy, or so that they do have that time to get to know them? Or is it better as it's closer to the birthing time?
Well, I definitely think if you're thinking about getting pregnant, if you just found out you're pregnant, I mean, you can get a doula at any stage. I mean, I've met doulas who say a person contacted them at 39 weeks and then in 1 week she was supporting them. But you can certainly do your research because it's like almost like speed dating where you have to find a doula. The first doula you find is not, or maybe not, I'll say, going to be your perfect match or the doula for you. So the sooner you find the doula and secure that, you guys can then work out how early you want to start meeting, what your exact needs are. Do you want us to educate you on like your pregnancy, or do you really want that support when you're laboring and delivering? So maybe we can schedule our visits a little bit as you are further along. So it really is that tailored to the specific birthing and pregnant person, because everyone has different needs. So, but I definitely think that you should start doing the work to find and secure your doula as early as you can.
I love that. Okay, I have some more questions, but we have some people coming on saying hello. Hello out there. Hello. Hello, Mr.
Hello.
Terry. Yes, thank y'all for joining us today. If y'all have any questions about what we're talking about, please put them in the chat. We would love to answer your questions. I have no knowledge on this, so Maya is your woman. So now is the time to ask her. Um, hey, Stephen, good to see you. So, yes, we have a good crowd tonight. So, Tamaya, what does cost look like as it relates to securing a doula? Is it based off of time? Is it based off of segments like sessions, or is it longevity? How does that look like if a parent is trying to plan? What should they keep in mind in that process?
Well, I want people who are trying to plan or considering a doula to realize that a doula is an investment in yourself and your health and in your baby, right? I have a doula friend who always says that having a doula should be as natural as you grabbing your baby bag, right? So, like, oh, I got my baby bag, I got my doula, right? And that's how normal it should be. But with training and the time that we put in to be able to support you. I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but I mean, costs can vary. I mean, I've seen doulas from $750 all the way up to $3,000.
Mhm.
But there are many kinds of doulas. You can hire a doula just for your labor and delivery. So for birth, you can hire just a postpartum doula, which is normally hourly, and they do come or can come overnight. And then some doulas create packages where it might be 3 prenatal visits, your whole labor and delivery, and maybe 2 postpartum visits. So it literally varies on what you're looking for and that actual doula, and if the doula is a part of a doula agency or a collective, or if they are individuals. So it can vary.
Yeah, I love that. And I wasn't trying to put you on the spot, but I imagine it's very similar to coaching. So
Right.
one of the things I've said, you can get the Dollar Tree version, but it's going to be a
Mhm.
cheap version.
Yes.
Yes, it may be convenient, it may be quick, but it's going to be a cheaper version. Sorry,
Mhm.
Dollar Tree. I love you, but not for
Me
everything.
too.
Right, but not for everything. And then on the other end, you can pay for the value that you are actually investing in. And
Right.
for something as important as this process, I imagine it would be a decent investment. So if you're out there thinking, definitely budget, because it's
Yeah.
not just a matter of, oh, that's expensive. You want to have the best care as
Yes.
you're going through this process. And so cost is a factor, possibly, potentially, but even in that factor, you're going to get what you invest.
Right. Definitely.
So, yeah,
And
that
I've even seen on like I think like baby lists and different baby registries they have where you can put in like a doula or a meal service and things like that. So as doulas and the work that we do is starting to get out there more, other organizations are starting to hop on board as well.
yes, I love that. Steven
Exactly.
said, like my mama said, good work ain't cheap and cheap work ain't good.
Exactly.
And that's the
Exactly.
truth. And a lot of people don't realize when you're investing in yourself, whether it's a birthing coach, which is kind of how I'm going to label the doula, but a doula, or any other thing that you're investing in. Heck, we come across the new year and everybody's paying for a gym.
Right.
We're not
Exactly.
willing, right, but we're not willing to pay for other pieces. So that's really cool. That's interesting. So I talked about, how do you recommend people really take the time to find the doula that's right for them? How do they research this? How do they go about starting to look into that information?
So there are many different ways. I mean, a lot of people find doulas from word of mouth. Even some doctor offices partner with doulas, even individually, or doula organizations and collectives. So you can even ask your doctor for recommendations, or the hospital. If you call the labor and delivery unit, they normally have some doula contacts that they are familiar with and work with, and can point you in the right direction. But you can do a simple Google search of doulas near me. There's a website, I believe it's doulas.net. You can go, if you're familiar with some doula agencies, you can go to their website and they'll have a doula finder. There are Facebook groups of, like, let's just say New Jersey doulas and birth workers that accepts parents, and they can ask, I'm looking for a doula, here's my budget or my location, etc. Please contact me here. So there are many, many different
Yeah,
ways.
that's good. Steven asked a question. He said, is there sort of a Yelp for them, like a way? Is that what you're kind of speaking of? Like
Right.
this?
So the one website, the doula, I think I'm missing a word, but it's doula something .net. But yes, they have ratings on there. They have their price, their website, the areas they service, testimonials from clients, etc. So as doulas are becoming a little bit more mainstream,
Mhm.
I'm hoping to see a more collaborative way that someone can find a doula, but because doulas are new and just now like becoming a little bit more popular, we're all still like operating in our silos, and so we're working on coming together.
Now, because you do virtual dueling, I don't know if that's the right term. If you do it virtually at this point, what does that look like? And does that mean that you could do it even if it was not like if somebody was interested in you, but they weren't in your area? Since you do it virtually, could they reach out to you?
Yes, definitely. I mean, COVID has definitely opened up um, the window for virtual doula services. I mean, sitting down virtually with clients and expecting people and just hearing about what they want out of their birth and labor and delivery, and giving them resources and things to look up, creating birth plans together, even talking through with them different birthing techniques or positions for a partner if they're there to help can do with you. So definitely, I've spoken to multiple people who are not in New Jersey and helped them along a few things.
That's awesome. And guys, stay tuned. I'm putting up her contact information. If you want to connect with her, it's scrolling at the bottom, the motherhoodacademy.org. And she's also on just about all social media platforms, the Motherhood Academy, the Motherhood Academy org. Check her out. She's on Clubhouse under the Motherhood Academy. That I can't talk. All my words are getting tongue tied, but she's on Clubhouse under the I'm done.
The Motherhood Academy.
Thank you. I guess I'm trying to talk too fast. So check her out because these are good things. These are good questions and ways that you can connect if you have a question or if you know someone that might have a question and want some knowledge about how to be a doula or about how to get doula services for themselves or for someone else. And you had mentioned that there are even doulas for children, like siblings, and there's
Mhm.
even doulas for the spouse. Is
Yeah.
that correct?
Well, there are definitely sibling doulas for when the parents or mother goes to have the baby. And they talk with them about what it will look like when a new baby comes, because we don't often talk about what that looks like, right? If you have other children and then a new baby is coming.
Mhm.
And I've heard so many stories about the babies not adjusting well or like ready to give the baby back and
Yeah.
things like that. But what I meant when I said doulas for dads is the doula doesn't only have to be there for the mother. They can be there, like if a mother knows that she wants a massage during labor at a certain point because that's where her pain usually comes from. Yes, me as the doula, I am trained and I know the techniques to give that to her. But if the dad or partner wants to be actively involved, I will say, here, dad, this is how, to move your hands or use this cream or etc. And then dad will be physically helping mom. And I might be there just coaching them or, hinting him like maybe she wants that back
Right.
now or things like that. So I don't ever want anyone to think that doulas replace dad or whoever your support person is. We're there to support the mom, yes, of course, the birthing person, but definitely the support person as well.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so I want to shift just a little because this has been a great conversation, but you have something else that you're even a part of. I mean, we haven't even touched the tip of the iceberg for you, but I want to talk a little bit about the Motherhood Academy because this is a nonprofit organization that you've started and is really doing some wonderful things and making a big impact in the community. Can you share a little bit about what the Motherhood Academy nonprofit organization is all about?
Yes, so we are all about educating, mentoring, and supporting mothers on wherever they are in their motherhood journey. So if they just found out they're pregnant, if they just recently delivered, if their child is 22, we're here to support mothers, and we do that in three ways. So our first program is a support program where women or expectant mothers who may have similar gestation or babies that were born around the same time are placed in a group, and we meet weekly and we literally talk about all things pregnancy, prenatal visits, labor and delivery, what to expect, reproductive health for if you're planning to have babies after this baby, how to find a doula if you want a midwife instead of a typical OBGYN, newborn care, and I mean, just a plethora of topics that all feed into motherhood. So we meet monthly and we just fellowship with one another and support each other, give each other reminders and encouragement. Even sometimes it's like, this is happening. Is it normal? Talking about Braxton Hicks, whatever the case may be. That's what our support program is all about. But there are some people who want a more one-on-one relationship. And that's where our second program, the mentorship program, comes in, where it's typically a first-time mom. You don't have to be one. You can just be pregnant again. But it's typically a first-time mom, and she's partnered up with what we call a veteran mom. So someone who is a mom already, that does go through a training in the same areas that the support group talks about, but to be able to have that one-on-one direct connection with that mom. Maybe they're not comfortable in a group setting or just want some more information to dig deeper about something that was talked about in the support group, or from their doula visit, or from their visit at their OB. So our mentorship program is there for that. And our last program is the support program, where we pretty much send mothers and new mothers and babies who recently delivered care packages, and we supply them with the basic needs and essentials that a mom and a new baby might need. So like diapers and wipes, nipple cream, water, just anything to just lessen the burden of having to think about all the things that you might need when you come home with baby. I mean, postpartum time is so, a mom is so delicate that if we can eliminate the need for having to go out and get something or forget something, she can focus on herself and her healing as a postpartum mom. And then that will in turn allow her to focus her energy and efforts into the baby. So that's what our support program is about.
I love that. I love each of those steps. That's really important. If you all are out there and you're interested, someone who just needs that support. Is it only for people in New Jersey?
No.
There
We
you
are
go. That,
everywhere.
that is the one thing that COVID has allowed us to do, have more
Yes.
access. And
Yes.
so that's amazing. So if you're out there, you're mothers, this is for moms, and you need that support, whether you're pregnant right now or you have a child that is grown and gone, go and check out the Motherhood Academy. That's really amazing. So I want you to do one more thing. I want you to share just some tips of wisdom. You have 4 beautiful children. You have this career path that you have really seems to be called to do. That's a passion. I love your demeanor. As I stated earlier, you just have such a peaceful, calm demeanor. And I feel like that is amazing. So I feel like you've definitely been called in this. And then this nonprofit organization, this is amazing. For a woman such as yourself who feels like they're doing it all, for a person such as yourself, feels like they're just balancing the weight of the world, how do you find time to just kind of rejuvenate and keep the momentum with doing it?
Definitely. And I can't just come on and give my answer as if I've been doing this for years to come, right? I even had to learn myself that I'm human and that I have needs that I have to fulfill for myself in order to give to my children, to my business, to my husband, etc. And so towards the end of 2020 and the beginning of this year, I've definitely heavily been focusing on self-care for myself. And it shows up in different ways sometimes. There are days where I wake up early to pray and meditate, sometimes work out, sometimes. But then there are other days where I like to go get pampered, and sometimes I even call a trip to the grocery store a 5-star vacation. So definitely just trying to incorporate some self-care for myself so that I can show up for the ones who need me.
Excellent. And if you can leave one last word to the people out there, what would it be?
It would definitely be to be gentle with yourself.
I love that. So you all have heard it. Tamiya Griffin, she is here. She has come and graced the toxin tea, toxin tea, with her presence, and she's laid down the knowledge, which has been so phenomenal. You can catch her, as I said, on my podcast coming up on Monday, January 25th. She will be on that episode, and she is just really continuing this conversation, going in more depth and detail about some of the things we've even highlighted tonight. And then she talks about some other things. Again, if you want to connect with her, check her out at the motherhoodacademy.org, which is scrolling below. Before we end, I have a few exciting things to share with you. First of all, I'm going to post it up. I have an upcoming parent masterclass. I am so excited about this. It is a 3-week masterclass, and it's kind of a boot camp style because we are going into the nitty gritty, but it is only available for a select few, and it is starting on Sunday. If you're interested, go ahead and give me a call at that phone number listed. Connect with me on the email below. It's all right there as to how to do it. And it's only 3 weeks. And it's really time that we stop saying what we're going to do and get on it and do it. There's so much, a wealth of information that you're going to learn, and you're going to get so much out of it. Additionally, you can always catch me every Tuesday and Thursday right here on Toxin Tea. And you can catch me on Mondays each week on the Round to It podcast, wherever you listen to your podcast. I'm on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, you name it, go find it. The Round to It with Tonya Nicole. And that is really all that I want to share with you all today. The month of January for me was that theme of vision. And I wanted to bring on really amazing people that can talk about not only not one-sided vision, but they could talk about how their vision from one place led them to where they are right now, and how they continue to project and set forth the visions that they have, and they're manifesting it by the work that they're putting in every single day, and not just doing it for themselves, but also spreading the information and the love to each of you all out there. So I hope you've enjoyed it. This has been Toxin Tea with me, Tonya Nicole, and my very special guest, Tamiya Griffin. Peace, small
Thank
hearts,
you.
stay different. Bye.
Bye.